What's up, everyone? MK Tom Brady here, and welcome to episode 5 in the aftermath of Aftermath. In this video, we're going to cover Liu Kang. Now, Liu Kang is a very interesting character in that I would say pretty much throughout the entire life of the game, many players have had Liu Kang in the top 3, the top 5. A lot of them even had him and still have him in the number 1 spot. Now, before we get into Liu Kang in general, I want to look at some of the variation-specific stuff. Really, there's nothing variation-specific that makes him at that level. In other words, if you look at his Wuxi Legend here, he's got, his teleport stuff where he can do, a high, he can do an overhead, and he can do a low. But all these are very unsafe. Like if you look at the frame data here, low's unsafe at -15, the overhead's unsafe at -13, and this right here is safe, but it's a high, so you can duck it and full combo punish him. And there really is no mix-up because you can pretty much just neutral jump and avoid all of the options that he has. You have to wait a second. I don't know why I wasn't doing that. So you can neutral jump them all and full combo punish. There's no mix-up. And the high one, like I said, you can avoid the high the same way. And you can just duck the high at that. So there's really nothing in this variation that's variation specific that's ridiculously good. In this variation here, which is the Dragon's Breath, he's got, fly kick and high fireball in all variations. So that's generic to all variations. Wuxi Legend and Dragon's Breath has that. Dragon's Breath has the command throw, and he has like a little teleport move that he can do, and he's got a nunchuck stance, which he can do moves that are, if you look at them, they're all unsafe. So, but I guess it's meant to be a mix-up. So this is an overhead, and this is -15, and he's got a low. It's -16, all unsafe. And then he has a command grab that he can do it in neutral, just regular, and he can also do it out of the stance. So he can do his command grab here, and he can also do it out of his stance right here. Yeah. So he can do it while in stance. So pretty much he's doing attacks and canceling into his stance when you don't expect him to do it. And then he's going to mix you up with overhead low. And even if you're guessing properly, you still have to worry about the command throw, which he can sneak in there. And then, like I said, then he has his Shaolin Vanish teleport type move. But this really, none of this is really anything that you look at and say, wow, this is like super overpowered. And then if you want to look at his first variation, again, he gains... This variation does help him against 6-frame jabbers. Actually, let me pick someone with a 6-frame down 1 just to kind of show. So this variation here does help him against a character with a 6-frame down 1 because of the low fireball. So the other two variations don't have a low fireball. So if you're fighting against a character that has a 6-frame down 1, like Sub-Zero, Gearus, whatever, and you don't have that low fireball, it's very difficult to really keep pressure. So if you look at it, his forward 4 and his forward 4-3 are all -7. So let's record forward 4, and he's going to try to block. It's a punish, and if he does forward 4-3, it's also -7. to punish. Now, in this variation, he has the low fireball, which he can mix up regular or amplify, which you have to guess which one. And then he also has a parry, which can blow the down 1 up, which will force Sub-Zero to start, or whoever to start doing like down 3s to really, instead of down 1s, but down 3 while it will beat the parry, does not get the guaranteed punish. Other variations can't do anything here but fly kick, and that's extremely risky to do. Whereas this variation here has, like I said, the parry, the fireball, multiple options that he can do here where the other two variations don't. But besides that, Liu Kang's, in his variation specific stuff, say his specials or whatever, there's really nothing there that is overpowered that's not your traditional Mortal Kombat stuff. High fireball, low fireball, fly kick, bicycle kick. These are all moves that Liu Kang has had for the majority of his Mortal Kombat life. Now, Liu Kang has been toned down since the beginning of the game, where his forward 4, instead of 11, used to be 9 frames. And his 1-2 used to be +3, and this has been toned down to be -2. So he has had changes throughout the life of the game. And yet still he's considered to be in the top. So what is the issue here? Is this Liu Kang having to be toned down? Well, I mean, there's a few things you could do if you really wanted to tone him down, I guess, even farther. Like, say, his fly kick, for example. It's got some pushback here. It's -20, though. The pushback is, you could push back further, I guess, from the distance he does it. Maybe if you're in crouch block, I guess, and he does a fly kick. Liu Kang can be pushed. Can be pushed farther back based on range. So sometimes it can be kind of hard to punish him based on the range that he does it at. It's not always like here he's right next to you. And again, but I guess maybe you could reduce the pushback on it. I mean, I've seen people lose matches because they missed the punish on this, but at -20, I mean, I don't really know that keeping it any closer is really gonna help, but I guess you could do that. And I've heard people say, make this. I remember Charney Volk did a video where he said, make these all be high, high, high. And the reason is Liu Kang gets knocked down and he does wake up buttons, or he just throws it out in the neutral. And the problem with this is, one, the wake up buttons, that's not really a Liu Kang thing. That's Mortal Kombat 11 and all the wake up options. So that's not really something. I mean, that's not a Liu Kang thing to tone down. That's just part of Mortal Kombat 11. And I mean, I guess you could reduce, I wouldn't make this all a high, but maybe reduce the active frames, because a lot of strings in the game, I'm sure you've been playing people, somebody whiffs a string right in front of your face, and you go to punish it, and somehow it still hits because it's active for a long time. You can tone down the active frames of this, maybe? But really, besides that, what else could you really do to Liu Kang? I mean, that you look at and you say, wow, this is too much. No, you see, the problem here is, I think Liu Kang is an example of the game. Some characters are going to play Mortal Kombat. They're going to keep a lot of their tools, and they're going to play like they've always played. And Liu Kang is a great example of that, where a character is allowed to be a Mortal Kombat character. And then there are other characters where they just don't flow together right. Their moves, their normals, their specials, they don't have that kind of synergy that Liu Kang does. So you have some characters in which they just have great synergy. They are their Mortal Kombat selves. And then we see this in a character like Scorpion as well. Scorpion is certainly not the best at all, but he has a lot of what made him a Mortal Kombat character in the game. Same with Liu Kang. So it doesn't matter if you're number 1 or just a pretty good character, but definitely not the best or even in the top 5. Like I said, like a character like Scorpion, who certainly is not in the top 5 at all. Just allowing you to be your Mortal Kombat self really allows you to be very competitive, and Liu Kang is one of those characters. The problem here is more characters are not like Liu Kang. And that's really the issue here. There's really nothing that's warranted to tone down on Liu Kang. There's no specific thing that is, wow, that's unfair. This is just an example of really not Liu Kang being too good currently. Just currently, a lot of the other characters aren't good enough. The only thing you can really do to adjust this is hope for a patch to adjust some of these issues, not in Liu Kang, but with the other characters. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.